I request all of you to please remain standing for the prayer.
कुन्देन्दु तुषार हारधवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युतशङ्कर प्रभृतिभिर्देवै सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाड्यापहा शुक्लां ब्रह्मविचारसारपरमाद्यां जगद्व्यापिनीं वीणापुस्तकधारिणीमभयदां जाड्यान्धकारापहा हस्ते स्फटिकमालिकां विदधतिम् पद्मासने संस्थिता वन्दे तां परमेश्वरीं भगवतीं बुद्धिप्रदां शारदाम्।
All of you may please be seated. A very good afternoon to you all. I'm Natraj Kranti, Dean Academic. It's my honor to host the 11th Convocation of School of Planning and Architecture, Bhopal. On behalf of the Director, members of faculty, members of staff, students of SPA Bhopal, it is my proud privilege to welcome you all on this momentous occasion, celebrating academic excellence. As Mahatma Gandhi said, persistent questioning and healthy inquisitiveness are the first requisite for acquiring any learning of any kind. In line with it, SPA Bhopal always strives to inculcate a sense of inquiry amongst all its stakeholders. We are deeply honored today to have Professor Kishore Kumar Basaji, Chairman of the National Monuments Authority, Ministry of Culture, Government of India, with us today as the chief guest of this convocation. Sir, your gracious presence inspires us. Thank you very much for accepting the invitation, sir. I request Chairperson, Senate and Director, SPA Bhopal, Professor Kailas Rao ji, to extend a warm welcome to our distinguished chief guest. It's a distinct honor to have Professor H.D. Charan, Chairperson, Board of Governors, joining us virtually today. We extend a warm welcome to you, sir. Thank you for joining us, sir. We are also privileged to have the members of the Board of Governors and the members of the Senate with us on this occasion. I extend a very warm welcome and express gratitude for their valuable time. Last but not the least, I wholeheartedly welcome all the enthusiastic graduates and the parents who have joined us today. I request Chairperson BOG, Professor H.D. Charan ji, to declare the 11th Convocation of School of Planning and Architecture, Bhopal, open.
This convocation of School of Planning and Architect Bhopal has been called to confirm degrees upon the candidates who have been certified to be worthy of receiving the same. I hereby declare the 11th convocation open.
Thank you very much, sir. It's my pleasure to invite the Director, SPA Bhopal, Professor Kailas Rao ji, to deliver the address and present the report. Before he begins, I wish to introduce him to our audience. Professor Kailas Rao ji is presently serving as the Director, School of Planning and Architecture, Bhopal. He is also professor at the School of Planning and Architecture, Vijayawada, and a distinguished member of the National Monument Authority. Professor Rao has an impressive experience of over 31 years. His academic credentials include a PhD from Manipal University, where he explored architectural pedagogy from the examples of traditional Indian temple from form generation concepts to completion. Professor Rao is a seasoned expert in architectural conservation and has led numerous consultancy projects for various architectural and archaeological monuments across India. His research portfolio encompasses various research and consultancy projects, multiple research papers, and presentations at national and international conferences. Now I request Professor Rao to deliver the address and present the Director's report of the Institute.
Distinguished Chief Guest, Professor Kishore Kumar Basaji, Respected Chairperson, Board of Governors, SPA Bhopal, Professor H.D. Charanji, respected members of Board of Governors and Senate of SPA Bhopal, esteemed guests, parents, colleagues, and my very dear graduates. At the outset, I congratulate the degree recipients across our undergraduate, postgraduate, and doctoral programs. In our journey of excellence, as is evident, we have been scrupulously aligned our academic pursuits in consonance with the mandates of National Education Policy 2020. The harmonious blending of both contemporary and indigenous knowledge and skill in our curricula manifestly distinguishes us from the others. I can assure you that all our future academic endeavors shall continue to contribute to the profession of architecture, planning, and design with our most valuable human resources. Let me first share with you some of milestones we have achieved during the last 1 year. A total 263 graduates, 125 undergraduates, 129 postgraduates, and 9 PhD graduates will be awarded the degrees in this convocation. We are going to introduce in phase 2 undergraduate, 4 postgraduate programs, and 1 integrated dual program across different disciplines in the coming years. We got our Innovation Foundation incorporated as a Section 8 company. We continue to be proud collaborator in nurturing a pool of women planners, architects, and designers as reflected in the student demography, where across the programs, female students continue to outnumber the male students. We have established a Center of Excellence in City Logistics Management, supported by Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India, and GIZ Germany. We have hosted a 3-day international conference on urban innovations in collaboration with the several knowledge partners and participation of experts from across the globe and scholars across the country. We are proud to have introduced the students' induction program on universal human values from this academic session for all our programs, where the traits of human values embedded in our age-old value systems were inculcated in the freshers. We have started executing a carefully curated landscape plan envisioned by our esteemed colleagues around our new academic building, which shall unify the open spaces into a cohesive whole, resulting in a remarkable blend of built and unbuilt to achieve a continuum of learning spaces on green campus. We have set up a waste collection and enclosure with the facility of converting the waste into manure in our bid to be a part of the Swachh Bharat mission of our Honorable Prime Minister. We have been awarded the prestigious projects of restoration and retrofitting of a Central Vista Hut as well as the Center of Capacity Building for Urban Planners under Amrut scheme by Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, Government of India. We have initiated the implementation of ERP Samarth towards a good governance. A state-of-art auditorium is being constructed and likely to be completed by this winter. I am delighted to put on record the achievements of my very dear students during this last year. Students across the programs brought laurels to the Institute by way of their participation in various national and international events on academic and extracurricular activities. Our students excelled in section of trials of 7th Asian Championship in Aerobic Gymnastics, Junior National Equestrian Championship, National Urban Conclave and Dream City National Competition organized by National Institute of Urban Affairs, World Heritage Young Professionals Forum 2024 at 46th World Heritage Committee, Annual NOSPLAN Convention, National OIDC Competition organized by INHAF, Archual International Competition, Prajatantra, Unraveling Indian Knowledge Across Asia Conference at IIT Guwahati, DIDA Awards, Kashi Yatra at IIT BHU, NASA MUN Convention at IIT Indore, and Synergy, etc., etc. These are the named few. All the 6 student clubs for respective activities were agog with activities throughout the year and hailing from different geographies of our students superbly displayed the unity and diversity of our country by celebrating Holi, Ganesh Chaturthi, Onam, Navratri, Garbha, Agomani, Mahashivratri, Gudi Padwa, Ram Navami, Janmashtami, and many other events, turning the campus into a vibrant place. Members of faculty across the departments brought accolades. for the school during the last 1 year through their sustained research and professional endeavors. Our faculty invented patent on the system and methods for accessing heritage sites information for persons with disabilities backed the patent rights for institute under the Patents Act 1970. Our faculty backed the prestigious HEFA CSR research project fund of rupees 50 lakhs 50,000 for designating a safe and independent hybrid battery and manual stair climbing wheelchair for persons with a locomotor disability. Members of faculty across the departments got their paper published in reputed journals and book series brought out by the leading publishers like Springer, Sage, Routledge, Taylor and Francis, IWA Publishing, SIEE, etc. While some members of the faculty also presented papers at IIT Roorkee, IIT Delhi, Portugal, Taiwan and Austria, others have delivered lectures at different institutions across the country, which are inter alia include EPCO, Rajasthan Technical University, Mizoram University, KILA, NIDM, etc. Members of faculty across the department also acted as members of board of studies, academic and advisory committees, juries, panel discussions, journal review, interview panels of etc. various institutions across the country. During the last 1 year, a number of special lectures, workshops, trainings were organized by the departments across the programs. Special lectures and workshops were hosted on diverse areas of contemporary relevance, which inter alia include values of environmental sustainability, decoding zero carbon in building design, models of land development in real estate market, use of structural steel in innovation in architecture, land-based financial mechanism, open data in urban planning, applications of behavioral economics and behavioral analytics and social cognition, wetlands and city dialogues, settlement, resilience and spatial planning, etc. Departments conducted certificate courses on various topics, including Vastu Shastra, including built environment, access audit, geospatial analysis with Python and R, etc. Experts were drawn from eminent institutions of US, UK, Germany and Japan, as well as from our IITs, IMS and ISERs, TERI, TISS, renowned universities. We celebrate the World Habitat Day, World Cities Day and the World Town Planning Day as a part of India G20 initiative during the year. I am delighted to share with you all that during the last 1 year, our library has successfully implemented the Institute's repository policy and keeps uploading the postgraduate and undergraduate thesis on IR server, which is accessible on Institute intranet. Besides procuring the books across the subjects of renewing, newly subscribing to different journals, our library also undertaken the necessary initiatives to host the selected postgraduates, these on the PQDT platform for global exposure. I take pride in informing you all that all the 8 state-of-art laboratories of the Institute have further equipped themselves with advanced hard and softwares. Out of many soft and hardwares that we have procured during the year, mention may be made to the 50 license of ENVI MET, science software for assessing urban microclimate and other environmental parameters, and Elegoo Saturn 4 Ultra Design 3D printers. All the 7 centers of our institute were agog with the activities throughout the year. While the Center for Geospatial organized national level of PDP on emerging geospatial applications and certificate courses on geospatial techniques for environmental modeling, the Center for Human-Centric Research conducted a lecture by Professor Shuguru Mori of Hokkaido University, Japan, on community relocation in case of large-scale disasters and climate change in Asia Pacific region. Likewise, while the Center of Excellence in City Logistics Management conducted 4 5-day national level in training programs in city logistics plan preparation as a part of the mandate of National Logistics Policy. The National Center for Spatial Rural Development Planning organized across a learning interactive national workshops on Gram Panchayat Spatial Development Plan in collaboration with the Ministry of Panchayat Raj, Government of India. The Center for Indian Knowledge Systems in Town Planning designed and developed a pedagogical tool called the Padvinyas puzzle to teach the layout of Vastu Mandala. During the year, we backed several research and consultancy projects, and some of our old projects got extended due to the increased scope of objectives. The institute got associated with the project of Yuge Yugen Bharat Museum, the largest museum of the world, for the preparation of comprehensive conservation management plan for North and South Block, New Delhi, at the behest of Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs of Government of India for the conservation and restoration of these historic buildings. AIMS Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh, Tourism Board, Archaeological Survey of India, Bamboo Mission of Government of MP, Town and Country Planning Department of Town and Country Planning Department of Tamil Nadu, Government of Uttarakhand, the Government of Manipur respectively, MP Metro Rail Corporation, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs of Government India, UNICEF, World Monuments Fund, Indian Council of Historical Research, Ministry of Steel of Government of India, Ministry of Panchayati Raj of Government of India, National Institute of Disaster Management, and ZIZ also in the list. I take pride in informing you about our academic collaborations with a number of institutions across the country as well as abroad, which inter alia include ISER Bhopal, NITTR Bhopal, NID Bhopal, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, Ministry of Steel, Ministry of Panchayat Raj, Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, Government of India, University of Florence, Italy, NTNU Norway, KILA Thrissur, and TISS Mumbai, etc. Throughout the year, our dedicated cell of training and placement in coordination with the Institute's Alumni Association and placement representatives of respective departments have arranged the internship of our students in reputed institutions and companies both within the country as well as abroad, namely UK, France, Germany, and Sri Lanka, Vietnam, Portugal, and Kuwait, etc. Our students got placed under different companies and institutions which inter alia include L&T, Tata Project Limited, Tata Engineering Services, JLL, Asian Paints, Green Solutions, WSP India, SYS TRA, DAR Pune, Heritage Matters, Global Traffic Solutions, and many more. I proudly inform you that we have celebrated Independence Day, Republic Day, Vigilance Week, National Sports Day, Swachha Pakhwada, 10th International Day of Yoga, Anti-Ragging Week, National Space Day, Fit India Week, Constitution Day, and Hindi Pakhwada with great enthusiasm and fervor. We continued with the publication of Samvad, our Hindi quarterly newsletter, and Spandan, our Hindi annual magazine, containing the activities and achievements of across various departments. Many of our tasks remain unfinished, which we should take up to in the coming years, and these inter alia include: we have started revising our undergraduate and postgraduate programs in the light of NEP 2020 and hope to complete the task in phases over the years. We propose to conserve our water bodies through rainwater harvesting and landscaping in order to promote the biodiversity of the campus. We intend to further increase the sports facilities for students for both outdoor and indoor programs. We propose to construct covered green walkways connecting the hostels to the students, amenities block, and academic building. We intend to set up 3 labs, namely Water Supply and Sanitation Lab, Augmented Reality and Virtual Reality Lab, and Building Information Modeling Lab. On this occasion of 11th Convocation of SPA Bhopal, I once again extend my heartiest congratulations and best wishes to all our graduates and proud parents. I wish you all very best for bright future and for all your future endeavors in life. Jai Hind.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big round of applause to celebrate the remarkable achievements of School of Planning and Architecture, Bhopal, over the past 1 year. Under the visionary leadership of our director, we have scaled new heights in architecture, planning, and design education and research. We extend our deepest gratitude to our director for his exceptional guidance. Sir, thank you very much. We also express a sincere appreciation to our esteemed academic advisory bodies, Senate members, Board of Governors for their invaluable expertise and strategic vision, which have significantly contributed to our institute's success. Your collective efforts have shaped SPA Bhopal into a hub of excellence, and we are very, very thankful to you. I now request our Chief Guest, Professor Kishore Kumar Basaji, to award the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, and request Professor Rao, Director SPA Bhopal, to accompany the chief guest, please. I request you all in the audience not to applaud each degree recipient while they are receiving degrees, but you may do so only after all the degree recipients of each program receive their degrees and all recipients in absentia, if any, are also announced. Sir, I present the graduates who having satisfied the requirements for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy are considered worthy of receiving the same. I recommend that they be admitted to the said degree. The graduates of Doctor of Philosophy may come forward, please, to receive their degrees. Ankit Kumar has undertaken his doctoral work titled Framework for Safe Evacuation of Older Adults During Fire in High-Rise Residential Buildings in India under the supervision of Dr. Sandeep Sankat and Professor Rachna Khare. Ankit Kumar. Ankit Kumar. Gaurav Vaidya has undertaken his doctoral work titled Service Delivery Performance for Urban Sanitation in India, a framework analysis in the Department of Urban and Regional Planning under the supervision of Professor N.R. Mandal. Gaurav Vaidya. Gaurav Vaidya. Prajakta Dilip Rahate has undertaken her doctoral work titled Evaluating Effectiveness of Green Infrastructure in Mitigating Urban Heat Island, a case of Indore, Madhya Pradesh, in the Department of Environmental Planning under the supervision of Professor Rama Pandey and Dr. Kakoli Saha. Prajakta Dilip Rahate. Bade Shaumit Dilip has undertaken his doctoral work titled Developing Water Use Efficiency Framework for Higher Education Institutions in India in the Department of Environmental Planning under the supervision of Professor N.R. Mandal. Bade Shaumit Dilip. Anjali C. has undertaken her doctoral work titled Spatial Behavior of Tayam in the Cultural Landscape of Kolatnadu in the Department of Conservation under the supervision of Professor Vishakha Kavatekar. Anjali C. Purnima Jairaj has undertaken her doctoral work titled A Framework for Integrating Sense of Place Values into Socio-Ecological System Approach for Coastal Wetland Conservation, a case study of Pelicat Lagoon, Southern India in the Department of Environmental Planning under the supervision of Professor Rama Pandey. Purnima Jairaj. Swati Sharma has undertaken her doctoral work titled Socio-Spatial Impact of Growth Dynamics at Urban Peripheries in the Department of Urban and Regional Planning under the supervision of Dr. Shivli Mitra. Swati Sharma. Paulos N.K. has undertaken his doctoral work titled Framework for Urban Parking Provisioning, exploring the links between workplace levy and public transport accessibility in the Department of Urban and Regional Planning under the supervision of Professor Binayak Chaudhary. Paulos N.K. Mosmi Hajela has undertaken her doctoral work titled Preferential Differences in the Use of Public Bus Transport, a case of the Indian city of Bhopal in the Department of Urban and Regional Planning under the supervision of Professor Binayak Chaudhary. Mosmi Hajela. Thank you very much, sir. All of you may please applaud for the degree recipients of Doctor of Philosophy. I now request our Chief Guest Professor Kishore Kumar Basaji to award the degrees of Master of Architecture Conservation and Master of Architecture Landscape. We shall start with the Department of Conservation. I request HOD Head of the Department of Conservation, Professor Ajay Vinodia ji, to come forward, please.
Sir, I present the graduates who, having satisfied the requirement for the degree of Masters of Architecture Conservation, are considered worthy of receiving the same. I recommend that they be admitted to the said degree. The graduates of MR Conservation 2024 batch may come forward to receive their degrees. Gayatri Sharma. Gayatri Sharma. Swastik Kumar Baral. Swastik Kumar Baral. K.V. Omkareshwar. K.V. Omkareshwar. Meera Elizabeth. Meera Elizabeth. Shruti Sharma. Shruti Sharma. Roshma S. Roshma S. Sompura Kaushal Kumar. Sompura Kaushal Kumar. Purva Chandrasekhar Bahaduri. Purva Chandrasekhar Bahaduri. Pragyan. Pragyan. Sivang Aneja. Sivang Aneja. Nilanjana Panda. Nilanjana Panda. Sir, one of the graduates is not present here today and requested that she be allowed to the degree of Master of Architecture Conservation in absentia. She, having satisfied the requirement for the degree, is considered worthy of it. I recommend that she be admitted to the said degree in absentia. Stuti Kanherkar.
Thank you, Professor Vinodia. All of you may please applaud for the degree recipients of Master of Architecture Conservation degrees. I now request the HOD Department of Landscape, Professor Rama U. Pandey, to come forward, please.
Sir, I present the graduates who, having satisfied the requirements for the degree of Master of Architecture Landscape, are considered worthy of receiving the same. I recommend that they be admitted to the said degree. The graduates of MArch Landscape 2024 batch may come forward to receive their degrees. Shikha Bharti. Shikha Bharti. Rajdeep Datta. Rajdeep Datta. Archana SK. Archana SK. Sirapu Ramyasri. Sirapu Ramyasri. Parvesh Kumar. Parvesh Kumar. Rohit Madan. Rohit Maran. K. Niharika. K. Niharika. Shruti Kabra. Shruti Kabra. Anupama Sanjeev. Anupama Sanjeev. Sir, some of the graduates are not present here today and requested that they be allowed to the degree of Master of Architecture Landscape in absentia. Each having satisfied the requirements for the degree is considered worthy of it. I recommend that each of them be admitted to the said degree in absentia. Subhra Jyoti Nag, B. Praveen, Sharayu Subhash Gangude.
Thank you, Professor Pandey. All of you may please applaud for the degree recipients of Master of Architecture Landscape. We thank our chief guest and request him to be seated. I now request our director, Sir Professor Kailas Rao ji, to award the degrees. I now request the head of the department, Urban Design, Dr. Piyush Hajela ji, to come forward, please.
Sir, I present the graduates who, having satisfied the requirements for the degree of Master of Architecture Urban Design, are considered worthy of receiving the same. I recommend that they be admitted to the said degree. The graduates of MArch Urban Design 2024 batch may come forward to receive their degrees. Dinesh Kataria. Dinesh Kataria. Dayasini Das. Dayasini Das. Parnavi Harde. Parnavi Harde. Adarsh Malviya. Adarsh Malviya. Venkatesh Rajendra Bhagat. Venkatesh Rajendra Bhagat. Shruti Vijay Tiwari. Shruti Vijay Tiwari. Ravjot Kaur. Ravjot Kaur. Shivaram, Shivaram, Himanshu Verma, Himanshu Verma, Mayank Kaushal, Mayank Kaushal, Kalpana, Kalpana, Nirali Devendra Belsere, Nirali Devendra Belsere, C. Avinash, C. Avinash, Sanjana Sanjay Lakhani, Sanjana Sanjay Lakhani, Atul Krishnan S, Atul Krishnan S, Himanshi Sharma, Himanshi Sharma, Avni Srivastav, Avni Srivastav, Toshika Suresh Bisikar, Toshika Suresh Bisikar, Shivani Singh Guraiya, Shivani Singh Guraiya. Sir, one of the graduates is not present here today and requested that he be allowed to the degree of Master of Architecture and Design in absentia. He, having satisfied the requirements for the degree, is considered worthy of it. I recommend that he be admitted to the said degree in absentia. N.R. Venkateswaran.
Thank you, Dr. Hajila. All of you may please applaud for the degree recipients of Master of Architecture Urban Design. I now request the head of the Department of Design, Dr. Tapas Mitraji, to come forward, please.
Sir, I present the graduates who, having satisfied the requirements for the degree of Master of Design, are considered worthy of receiving the same. I recommend that they be admitted to said degree. The graduates of MDes 2024 batch may come forward to receive their degrees. Bhavna, Bhavna, Asmita Dilip Korpenwar, Asmita Dilip Korpenwar, Srijan Chatterjee, Srijan Chatterjee, Pooja Atulkar, Pooja Atulkar, Atul Vinayak Alaseri, Atul Vinayak Alaseri, S. Sangeet, S. Sangeet, Akshay Kumar Kishore Parwate, Akshay Kumar Kishore Parvate, Titikhya Malik, Titikhya Malik, Zihan Farhan Sheikh, Zihan Farhan Sheikh, Anushri Uday Vaze, Anushri Uday Vaze, Rania Jalal Pipi, Rania Jalal Pipi, Savalia Chirag Govind Bhai, Savalia Chirag Govind Bhai, Arushi Bhavsar, Arushi Bhavsar, Ananya Kori, Ananya Kori, Vijaya Rani Sharma, Vijaya Rani Sharma, Abhishek Mishra, Abhishek Mishra, Sir, some of the graduates are not present here today and requested that they be allowed to the degree of Master of Design in absentia. Each having satisfied the requirements for the degree is considered worthy of it. I recommend that each of them be admitted to the said degree in absentia. Shibani Mishra, Vivek Akash, and Bontha Sita Manasa.
Thank you, Dr. Mitra. All of you may please applaud for the degree recipients of Master of Design degrees. I now request the head of the Department of Environmental Planning, Professor Nikhil Ranjan Mandal, to come forward, please.
Sir, I present the graduates who, having satisfied the requirements for the degree of Master of Planning, Environmental Planning, are considered worthy of receiving the same. I recommend that they be admitted to the said degree. The graduates of M-Plan Environmental Planning 2024 batch may come forward to receive their degrees. Abdul Ahad Khan, Abdul Ahad Khan, Lisa Taneja, Lisa Taneja, Sharda Ganesh Iyer, Sharda Ganesh Iyer, Vishnu Prasad S, Vishnu Prasad S, Anushi Gupta, Anushi Gupta, Harshit B. N, Harshit B. N, Shaili Agarwal, Shaili Agrawal, Nikhil Bhardwaj, নিখিল ভরদ্বাজ, আকস্মিতা চক্রবর্তী, আকস্মিতা চক্রবর্তী. Sir, some of the graduates are not present here today and requested that they be allowed to the degree of Master of Planning, Environmental Planning in absentia. Each having satisfied the requirements for the degree is considered worthy of it. I recommend that each of them be admitted to the said degree in absentia. Shraddha Suman, J. Justin Andrews, Arati S.
Thank you, Professor Mandal. All of you may please applaud for the degree recipients of Master of Planning, Environmental Planning degrees. We thank our director. I now request our chief guest, Professor Kishore Kumar Basaji, to award the degrees and request Professor Rao, Director SPA Bhopal, to accompany the chief guest, please. I now request the head of the Department of Transport Planning, Shri Saurabh Bopli, to come forward, please.
Sir, I present the graduates who, having satisfied the requirements for the degree of Master of Planning, Transport Planning and Logistics Management, are considered worthy of receiving the same. I recommend that they be admitted to the said degree. The graduates of Master of Planning, Transport Planning and Logistics Management 2024 batch may come forward to receive their degrees. Varsha Chauhan, Varsha Chauhan, Uzma Mekrani, Uzma Mekrani, Ashutosh Kumar Tiwari, Ashutosh Kumar Tiwari, Satya Swarup Sahu, Satya Swarup Sahu, Muhammad Muslim Ansari, Muhammad Muslim Ansari, Akash Soni, Akash Soni, Shubham Burman, Shubham Burman, Ritam Samanta, Ritam Samanta, Ruben M, Ruben M, Ashutosh Malviya, Ashutosh Malviya, Divyansh Khare, Divyansh Khare, Azim Akhtar, Azim Akhtar, Suhail Masood. Suhail Masood. Akash Udebhan Sapate. Akash Udebhan Sapate. Avinash Kumar. Avinash Kumar. Gangireddy Shravani. Gangireddy Shravani. Dharmanshu Chauhan. Dharmanshu Chauhan. Sir, some of the graduates are not present here today and requested that they be allowed to the degree of Master of Planning, Transport Planning and Logistics Management in absentia. Each having satisfied the requirements for the degree is considered worthy of it. I recommend that each of them be admitted to the said degree in absentia. V. Vimal.
Thank you, Sri Popli. All of you may please applaud for the degree recipients of Master of Planning, Transport Planning and Logistics Management degrees. I now request the Head of the Department of Urban and Regional Planning, Dr. Shivli Mitra, to come forward, please.
Sir, I present the graduates who, having satisfied the requirements for the degree of Master of Planning, Urban and Regional Planning, are considered worthy of receiving the same. I recommend that they be admitted to the said degree. The graduates of M-Plan, Urban and Regional Planning 2024 batch may come forward to receive their degrees. Vaishnavi Vasant Sathe. Vaishnavi Vasant Sathe. Akanksha Patel. Akanksha Patel. Debangana Dasgupta. Debangana Dasgupta. Pradhi Pathak. Pradhi Pathak. Yogeshwari Rohit. Yogeshwari Rohit. Sajal Chauhan. Sajal Chauhan. Sampriti De. Sampriti De. Geeta Kumari. Geeta Kumari. Shubhi Agarwal. Shubhi Agarwal. Rajdeep Chanda. Rajdeep Chanda. S. Gayatri. S. Gayatri. Sunidhi Tiwari. Sunidhi Tiwari. Nikita Bhuraria. Nikita Bhuraria. Raghavendra Kushwa. Raghavendra Kushwa. Falguni Shah. Falguni Shah. Rupono Kubung. Rupono Kubung. Nitin Rathi. Nitin Rathi. Akanksha Bhavsar. Akanksha Bhavsar. Nivedita Agarwal. Nivedita Agarwal. Elisha. Elisha. Anil Kumar Moirangthem. Anil Kumar Moirangthem. Chandan Kumar. Chandan Kumar. Anjali Netam. Anjali Netam. Aditi Jain. Aditi Jain. Sherwin Azmina KN. Sherwin Azmina KN. Dhruvel Ashokbhai Godhani. Dhruvel Ashokbhai Godhani. Deepika Huliram Raut. Deepika Huliram Raut. Garvit Sharma. Garvit Sharma. Sandeep Singh. Sandeep Singh. Bipasha Das. Bipasha Das. Tarishi Kumawat. Tarishi Kumawat. Riti Chaudhary. Riti Chaudhary. Tarini Prasad Sahu. Tarini Prasad Sahu. Shrimant Bakshi. Shrimant Bakshi. Kshitij Bharti. Kshitij Bharti. Sir, one of the graduates is not present here today and requested that she be allowed to the degree of Master of Planning, Urban and Regional Planning in absentia. She, having satisfied the requirements for the degree, is considered worthy of it. I recommend that she be admitted to the said degree in absentia. Aishi Paul.
Thank you, Dr. Mitra. All of you may please applaud for the degree recipients of Master of Planning, Urban and Regional Planning degrees. Now I request Dr. Rao to kindly accompany the chief guest to his place, please. I now request our Director, SPA Bhopal, to award the degrees of Bachelor of Architecture and request the Head of the Department of Architecture, Dr. Sandeep Sankat, to come forward, please.
Sir, I present the graduates who, having satisfied the requirements for the degree of Bachelor of Architecture, are considered worthy of receiving the same. I recommend that they be admitted to the said degree. The graduates of BARC 2024 batch may come forward to receive their degree. Sudipta Konar. Sudipta Konar. Srijana Ratan Dasri. Srijana Ratan Dasri. Vemullapalli Mohit. Vemullapalli Mohit. Harika Dastami. Harika Dastami. Anshita Saxena. Anshita Saxena. Saswat Pati. शाश्वतपति अंकित बबन लखमापुरे, अंकित बबन लखमापुरे, सुवन भगत, सुवन भगत, कमेसेट्टी वेंकट शिवा कृष्णजा, कमेसेट्टी वेंकट शिवा कृष्णजा, पवनीत सिंह, पवनीत सिंह, कटरागड़ा मौली, कटरागड़ा मौली, रोहित कृष्ण पीएस, रोहित कृष्ण पीएस, एम विश्वनाथ, एम विश्वनाथ, वैशाख, वैशाख, गुगलोथु साई हर्षा नंदिनी, गुगलोथु साई हर्षा नंदिनी, अकमल सामिर डीआर, अकमर सामिल डीआर, प्रसिद्ध कुमार, प्रसिद्ध कुमार, अपराजिता चक्रवर्ती, अपराजिता चक्रवर्ती, यवनिका सिंधु, यवनिका सिंधु, अक्षय प्रकाश वानी, अक्षय प्रकाश वानी, दगड़कर अनन्या सचिन, दगड़कर अनन्या सचिन, शुभम चौधरी, शुभम चौधरी, शैली सिंह, शैली सिंह, वसुदेव कृष्ण गौर, वसुदेव कृष्ण गौर, अक्षत भगत, अक्षत भगत, ध्रुव भाटिया, ध्रुव भाटिया, आंचल गुप्ता, आंचल गुप्ता, सैमुअल अगस्टीन, Samuel Augustine, Raju Venkata Chandana, Raju Venkata Chandana, Harsha Verma, Harsha Verma, Kuchana Ashrit Vatsala, Kuchana Ashrit Vatsala, Rishu Rana, Rishu Rana, Mrityunjay Pathak, Mrityunjay Pathak, Nishant Hemant Valchale, Nishant Hemant Valchale, Ayush Verma, Ayush Verma, Rakshita Dujari, Rakshita Dujari, Srijita Verma Nishi, Srijita Verma Nishi, Sushmita Verma, Sushmita Verma, Shambhavi, Shambhavi, Sauhardra Rana, Sauhardra Rana, Riya Verma, Riya Verma, Jibin John Joseph, Jibin John Joseph, Kavya Thiruvambala Thanuveni, Kavya Thiruvambala Thanuveni, Rashi Karkun, Rashi Karkun, Thurumala Rishita Lakshmi, Thurumala Rishita Lakshmi, Vaishnav, Vaishnav, Aishwarya CS, Aishwarya CS, Nitya Soni, Nitya Soni, स्मृति शर्मा, स्मृति शर्मा, सलोनी अग्रवाल, सलोनी अग्रवाल, हर्षिता नारायणा, हर्षिता नारायणा, प्रियांशु जांगीड़, प्रियांशु जांगीड़, सुभाशीष साहू, सुभाशीष साहू, अनुष्का सिंह, अनुष्का सिंह, मृणाल माधव दुसाने, मृणाल माधव दुसाने, कार्तिक सत्या, कार्तिक सत्या, अर्ष्या सृष्टि कुजूर, अर्ष्या सृष्टि कुजूर, शिवनी सनत कुमार, शिवनी सनत कुमार, शशांक जे नायका, शशांक जे नायका, लालुम हेमा राल्टे, लालुम हेमा राल्टे, कोटा किरण चंदू, कोटा किरण चंदू, अंपुलू गिरीश, अंपुलू गिरीश, पूर्ण साई वर्धन बथेना, पूर्ण साई वर्धन बथेना, विशाली श्रीकांत, विशाली श्रीकांत, आयुषी श्रीवास्तव, आयुषी श्रीवास्तव, थुमल्ल जासवंत, थुमल्ल जासवंत, अनुष्का गोयल, अनुष्का गोयल, समृद्धि कौशिक, समृद्धि कौशिक, सानिया खान, Sania Khan, Chandra Adityan T, Chandra Adityan T, Fatima Nidha T, Fatima Nidha T, Shaifali Gautam, Shaifali Gautam, Ruchira Bhagwat, Ruchira Bhagwat, Abel Job, Abel Job, P. Hima Bindu, P. Hima Bindu, Yash Jain, Yash Jain, Mahajan Mansi Sandeep, Mahajan Mansi Sandeep, Shrishti Sarkar, Shrishti Sarkar, Naina Nasrin MC, Naina Nasrin MC, Adya Jha, Adya Jha, Adya Singh, Adya Singh, Yami PR, Yami PR, Gaurav Yadav, Gaurav Yadav, Sandeep Kumar G, Sandeep Kumar G, Aisha V, Aisha V, Ojasvi Maurya, Ojasvi Maurya, Aman Chanduka, Aman Chanduka, Saisha Monga, Saisha Monga, Shriram R, Shriram R, Garvit Sherawat, Garvit Sherawat. Sir, some of the graduates are not present here today and requested that they be allowed to the degree of Bachelor of Architecture in absentia, each having satisfied the requirements for the degree degree is considered worthy of it, I recommend that each of them be admitted to the said degree in absentia. Biri James, Khetoy H. Yeptho, Soumya Anand, Samyukta Singaravel, Sheikh Anam Fatima Sajid Ahmed, Shreya Bansal, Rupam Haldar, Nandini Mahto, and Moksh Nagesh.
Thank you, Dr. Sandeep Sankat. All of you may please applaud for the degree recipients of Bachelor of Architecture degrees. I now request the head of the Department of Urban and Regional Planning, Dr. Shivli Mitra, to come forward, please.
Sir, I present the graduates who, having satisfied the requirements for the degree of Bachelor of Planning, are considered worthy of receiving the same. I recommend that they be admitted to the said degree. The graduates of B-Plan 2024 batch may come forward to receive their degrees. Basundhara Paul. Basundhara Paul. Vansh Gulati. Vansh Gulati. Abhishek Raisinghani. Abhishek Raisinghani. Sukriti Sanawar. Sukriti Sanawar. Nishtha Duggal. Nishtha Duggal. Sanskriti Shukla. Sanskriti Shukla. Drishti. Drishti. Fatima Zehra. Fatima Zehra. Tuhin Palit. Tuhin Palit. Pratush Nayak. Pratush Nayak. Tushar Arora. Tushar Arora. Uday Kiran Kech. Uday Kiran Kech. Astha Bhavoria. Astha Bhavoria. Abhishek Rathod. Abhishek Rathod. Kashish Qureshi. Kashish Qureshi. Shreyas Mende. Shreyas Mende. G. Vignesh. G. Vignesh. Amal Ahmed RC. Amal Ahmed RC. Aishwarya Priya. Aishwarya Priya. Saurav. Saurav. Tanishka Gotwal. Tanishka Gotwal. Swarnadeep Mandal. Swarnadeep Mandal. Vanlal Shoya. Vanlal Shroya. Sir, some of the graduates are not present here today and requested that they be allowed to the degree of Bachelor of Planning in absentia. Each having satisfied the requirements for the degree is considered worthy of it. I recommend that each of them be admitted to the said degree in absentia. Vandit Mehta, Prachiti Ketkar, and Dev Gautam.
Thank you, Dr. Mitra. All of you may please applaud for the degree recipients of Bachelor of Planning degrees. All degree recipients of all programs may please rise for an exhortation by the Chairperson Senate. I now request the Director and Chairperson Senate to present the exhortation. I request all the graduates to please rise for exhortation.
By virtue of authority vested in me as the Chairperson, Senate of School of Planning and Architecture, Bhopal, I do hereby admit each of the doctoral scholars to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, each of the Masters of Architecture graduates under the various specializations to the said degree, each of the Masters of Design graduates to the said degree, each of the Masters of Planning graduates under the various specializations to the said degree, each of the Bachelor of Architecture graduates to the said degree, each of the Bachelor of Planning graduates to the said degree. I charge them all to prove worthy of their degrees throughout their life.
Thank you, sir. All degree recipients may now please be seated. As the Chairperson, Senate has admitted all the degree recipients to their respective degrees, I would now request the Registrar of School of Planning and Architecture, Bhopal, to present the record of degrees to the Chairperson, Senate, Professor Kailas Rauji, for his signature with the consent of the Chairperson, Board of Governors. In accordance to the tradition of committing themselves to their profession, all the degree recipients may please rise to take the pledge. I request Rashi Karkun, graduate of the Bachelor of Architecture, to please come forward on the dais to administer the pledge. All degree recipients may please open the degree folders to take the pledge.
We, the graduates of School of Planning and Architecture, Bhopal, hereby pledge that we shall always endeavour to be scrupulously honest in the discharge of our duties as architects, designers, and planners, that we shall always endeavor to utilize our knowledge of architecture, design, and planning for the service of our country and the glory of our institute. That in all circumstances, we shall try to uphold the dignity of the individual and the integrity of the profession. That we shall, in word and deed, guard against all narrow loyalties and sectarian prejudices, and cherish with pride the integrity and the unity of our country.
Thank you, Rashi Karkun, and thank you all. You may now please be seated. Now it's time to award the proficiency gold medals across various programs. I now request our Director SPA Bhopal to kindly accompany the Honorable Chief Guest to give away the proficiency gold medals. Sir, in the capacity of Dean Academic, I present the candidates for the proficiency gold medals for best academic performances for the year 2024 across different programs. Master of Architecture Conservation, the proficiency gold medal goes to Meera Elizabeth. Meera Elizabeth. Master of Architecture Landscape, the proficiency gold medal goes to Shikha Bharti. Shikha Bharti. Master of Architecture Urban Design, the proficiency gold medal goes to Ravjot Kaur. Ravjot Kaur. Master of Design, the proficiency gold medal goes to Asmita Dilip Kaur. Asmita Dilip Kaur. Master of Planning, Environmental Planning, the proficiency gold medal goes to Risha Taneja. Lisha Taneja. Master of Planning, Transport Planning and Logistics Management, the proficiency gold medal goes to Shubham Barman. Shubham Barman. Master of Planning, Urban and Regional Planning, the proficiency gold medal goes to S. Gayatri. S. Gayatri. Bachelor of Architecture, the proficiency gold medal goes to Dhruv Bhatia. Dhruv Bhatia. Bachelor of Planning, the proficiency gold medal goes to Sanskriti Shukla. Sanskriti Shukla. Sir Uzma Mekhrani is recommended to be awarded the Certificate of Appreciation for Proficiency in Master of Planning, Transport Planning and Logistics Management. Uzma Mekhrani. Thank you, sir. All of you may please applaud for the recipients of proficiency gold medals. The Institute awards the School of Planning and Architecture, Bhopal, Medal of Excellence to one undergraduate and one postgraduate student for all-round performance. For 2024, the awards go to Rashi Karkun of Bachelor of Architecture program among the undergraduate students. Rashi Karkun, the Medal of Excellence Award. Akash Udeban Sapate for Master of Planning, Transport Planning and Logistics Management program among the postgraduate students. Akash Udeban Sapate. Thank you, sir. All of you may please once again applaud to the recipients of Medal of Excellence. We thank our chief guest and request him to be seated now. I now request our director to award the best thesis certificates. Sir, I present the recipients of the best thesis award for the year 2024 across different programs. Master of Architecture Conservation. The best thesis award goes to Roshma S. Roshma S. Master of Architecture Landscape. Best Thesis Award goes to Anupama Sanjeev. Anupama Sanjeev. Master of Architecture Urban Design. Best Thesis Award goes to Avani Srivastava. Avani Srivastava. Master of Design, the Best Thesis Award goes to Arushi Bhavsar. Arushi Bhavsar. Master of Planning, Environmental Planning, the Best Thesis Award goes to Akashmita Chakrabarti. Akashmita Chakrabarti. Master of Planning, Transport Planning and Logistics Management. The Best Thesis Award goes to Gangireddy Shravani. Gangireddy Shravani. Master of Planning, Urban and Regional Planning. The Best Thesis Award goes to S. Gayatri. S. Gayatri. Bachelor of Architecture, the Best Thesis Award goes to Smriti Sharma. Smriti Sharma. Bachelor of Architecture, the Best Thesis Award goes to two students, Sanskriti Shukla and Prachiti Kedkar. Sanskriti Shukla. Sanskriti Shukla. Prachiti Kedkar, I believe, is not here to receive her award. Sri Rapu Ramyasri is recommended to be awarded the Certificate of Appreciation for thesis in Master of Architecture Landscape. Sri Rapu Ramyasri. Sanjana Sanjay Lakhani is recommended to be awarded the Certificate of Appreciation for thesis in Master of Architecture Urban Design. Thank you very much, sir. All of you may please applaud once again for the recipients of the Best Thesis Award. I request the director to please be seated. I now request Professor Charan, Chairperson Board of Governors, SPA Bhopal, to kindly deliver a speech to the students. Before the speech of the Chairperson Board of Governors, I request Director, School of Planning and Architecture, Bhopal, to introduce him, please.
Professor H.D. Charan acquired his B.Tech and M.Tech degree from MBM Engineering College, Jodhpur, and PhD from University of Roorkee. During PhD, he is a recipient of prestigious Koslov Research Award for 2 consecutive years for his excellent research work. Professor Charan held various academic positions, that is Dean Student Welfare, Dean Faculty of Engineering and Architecture, Dean Academic Affairs, HOD Civil Engineering, and he was one of the key persons for establishment of RTU quota. Currently, he is the chairperson of National Committee Universal Human Values, AICTE Delhi. He was founder vice chancellor of Bikaner Technical University, Bikaner, from 2018 to 2021. One of the significant contributions of Professor Charan to the technical education of Rajasthan is to introduction of universal human values and ethics as mandatory course for the students. Hundreds of teachers and thousands of students have been trained through week-long workshops on UHV. He is significantly contributing in inculcating of UHV in technical education at national level. He has been awarded as a Visionary Leader 2020 by Institute of Engineers, India, for his contribution in UHV. He is one of the core members of the National Coordination Committee of Students Induction Program, NCCIP, of AICT New Delhi. For promotion of art, culture and values among students, he has been nominated as a member of Board of Management of AIMS Jodhpur by Government of India. He is leading consultant in the field of civil engineering and providing technical advice for infrastructure projects, etc., bridges, dams, buildings, water tanks, channels, power plants, etc., highways, etc. I now invite Professor Charan, Chairperson, DOG, to deliver his speech.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद राव साहब। योजना एवं वास्तुकला विद्यालय भोपाल के 11वें दीक्षांत समारोह में उपस्थित सभी का मैं हार्दिक अभिनंदन एवं स्वागत करता हूं। कार्यक्रम में मुख्य अतिथि प्रोफेसर किशोर के भाषा, चेयरमैन नेशनल मॉन्यूमेंट्स अथॉरिटी, गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कल्चर, विश्वविद्यालय के डायरेक्टर प्रोफेसर कैलाश राव, शासी परिषद के सभी सम्मान्य सदस्य, सीनेट के सभी सम्मान्य सदस्य, डीन्स, विभागाध्यक्ष, फैकल्टी मेंबर्स, विद्यार्थी एवं उनके परिवारजन, मैं आप सभी का हार्दिक अभिनंदन स्वागत करता हूं। मैं सबसे पहले उन विद्यार्थियों को हार्दिक बधाई देता हूं जिन्होंने आज इस दीक्षांत समारोह में उपाधि ग्रहण की। उन विद्यार्थियों को विशेष बधाई देता हूं जिन्होंने गोल्ड मेडल, प्रशस्ति पत्र या और किसी तरह का पुरस्कार प्राप्त किया। सबसे पहले इन सभी के उज्जवल भविष्य एवं सफलतम जीवन की कामना करता हूं। साथियों, जब दीक्षांत समारोह का नाम आता है और जो भाव आता है, एक मैं लहर देख रहा हूं सब में कि एक उत्सव का वातावरण है। सभी लोग अपनी पारंपरिक वेशभूषा में हैं, हम सभी भी अपनी पारंपरिक वेशभूषा में आए। एक उत्सव का माहौल है। क्या ये सिर्फ एक उत्सव ही है और उत्सव के अलावा भी कुछ है? क्या हम इसको दीक्षांत समारोह के बजाय डिग्री डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन सेरेमनी कह सकते हैं? क्या हम इसको पुरस्कार वितरण समारोह कह सकते हैं? निश्चित रूप से नहीं कह सकते। ये उसके छोटा एक हिस्सा हो सकता है, लेकिन ये वितरण समारोह नहीं है, उत्सव नहीं है, उससे भी आगे बढ़कर दीक्षांत की भावना आती है, जब बात आती है और जो हम अब तक सुनते आए हैं, तो समाज में भी बहुत सारे दीक्षांत कार्यक्रम होते नजर आते हैं। वे भी अपने अपने रूप में मानव को दीक्षित करते हैं। इस शिक्षा व्यवस्था में देखें, आज की इस पारंपरिक वेशभूषा से पहले थोड़ा सा जाएं तो दीक्षांत समारोह में एक विशेष पोशाक के रूप में हम सब उपस्थित होते थे। एक गाउन पहन के ऐसे कार्यक्रम में उपस्थित होते थे। गाउन का अगर हम देखें तो उसका अपना एक महत्व है। एक व्यवस्था में जो व्यक्ति संपूर्ण रूप से समाज को समर्पित हो जाता था, जो दीक्षा लेता था, वो ऐसे गाउन में रहते हैं। वो क्या वेशभूषा देखें तो एक गाउन पहने होते हैं। तो संभवतः यह भाव रहा होगा कि आज का कार्यक्रम सिर्फ डिग्री डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन नहीं है, एक पवित्र दिन है जिसके माध्यम से वो आज कुछ ऐसी शिक्षा लेकर और शिक्षा के समाप्त होने पर, संपूर्ण होने पर, ऐसे भाव, विचार और आचरण के साथ समाज में समर्पित होने जा रहा है। इसलिए इसको शायद दीक्षांत समारोह का। अगर हमारी पारंपरिक व्यवस्था में देखें तो गुरुजन विद्यार्थी की शिक्षा संपूर्ण होने पे उसको दीक्षा देते थे। वहां भी इसी तरह की व्यवस्था थी। और उस दीक्षांत समारोह की व्यवस्था के बाद में देखें कि जीवन के संपूर्ण को 4 भागों में विभाजित करके देखा था। उसका एक भाग जो शिक्षा से संबंधित था, ब्रह्मचर्य का आश्रम, वो आज संपूर्ण होता है। यानी आज तक उसने जो सीखा है, उस सीखे हुए को जीवन में सिद्ध करने के लिए अगले आश्रम में प्रवेश होता। यानी आज वो ये दीक्षा लेके प्रवेश होता था कि जो कुछ मैंने अब तक सीखा है, रोजगार का उपार्जन करने के लिए, परिवार की व्यवस्था को समझ के उसके अनुरूप रहने के लिए, समाज की व्यवस्था को समझकर उसके साथ में हार्मोनी के साथ रहने के लिए, और प्रकृति के साथ सौहार्दपूर्ण तरीके से रहने के लिए, जो कुछ भी मैंने अब तक के 1/4 जीवन में सीखा है, अगले 1/4 जीवन में उसे मुझे साबित करना। इस भाव से इसे दीक्षांत समारोह, और इस प्रयोजन से इसको दीक्षांत समारोह कहा गया। ये प्रथा पीढ़ियों से चली आ रही है, शताब्दियों से चली आ रही है। जब व्यक्ति को दीक्षांत करके, उसको दीक्षित करके ये भाव के साथ में समाज में भेजा जाता है। इसलिए मैं प्यारे विद्यार्थियों को कहना चाहूंगा कि ये सिर्फ आपका एक डिग्री डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कार्यक्रम नहीं है कि आज आपने एक कोर्स को संपन्न किया है जिसके माध्यम से आप एक रोजगार का उपार्जन कर सकते हैं। ये उससे आगे बढ़कर है। हम शिक्षा के रूप में कितना आपको दे पाए हैं उसकी सीमा हो सकती है, लेकिन वो एक दिशा निश्चित रूप से हमने आपको दी है। इस उपार्जन के साथ साथ एक दिशा दी है कि आप जीवन में कैसे जीवन को जीना है। इसके तुरंत बाद आप समाज में प्रवेश करने जा रहे हैं, परिवार के रूप में भी आप आगे बढ़ने जा रहे हैं। इन दोनों को साथ साथ हार्मोनी पूर्वक रहते हुए और अपने रोजगार में एक एक्सपर्ट के रूप में अपने आप को साबित करते हुए आगे बढ़ेंगे, ऐसी मेरी कामना है और ऐसी मेरी उम्मीद भी है। और मैं नहीं, विश्वविद्यालय का आपका हर फैकल्टी मेंबर जिसने जिस भी रूप में भी आपको योगदान दिया है, आपको इस दीक्षांत समारोह के माध्यम से एक साधारण मनुष्य से संपूर्ण मानव के रूप में देखना चाहता। और व्यापक व्यवस्था में शामिल होने जा रहे हैं। आपका कार्य निश्चित रूप से, जिसके लिए भी आप प्लानर के रूप में, आर्किटेक्ट के रूप में कार्य करते हैं, उनकी आवश्यकताओं को और उनके सुख को सृजित करने के लिए आपका महत्वपूर्ण रोल है। जिस समाज के लिए, जिस व्यवस्था के लिए कार्य करते हैं, वहां की अपनी आवश्यकताएं कैसी है, उनकी अब तक की जो सांस्कृतिक व्यवस्था है उसको कैसे संजो के रख सकते हैं, ये आपकी प्लानिंग और आर्किटेक्ट का हिस्सा होना चाहिए। सिर्फ यही नहीं, प्रकृति ने जो कुछ हमको दिया है उसका सदुपयोग हो आपकी प्लानिंग के आधार पर। सिर्फ सदुपयोग भी न हो, उसका पुनरुपयोग हो, ऐसी व्यवस्था भी आप उनको सुझाएं कि प्रकृति में जो कुछ है, जिसके माध्यम से जो हमको मिलता है, उसका सदुपयोग हो, उसका रीयूज हो। ये भी व्यवस्था आपको समझाने की जरूरत है कि आप इसके एक्सपर्ट हैं। और इस कल्पना के साथ जब आप आगे बढ़ते हैं, इस भाव के साथ आगे बढ़ते हैं, तो हम निश्चित रूप से कह सकते हैं कि आप एक सोशली रेस्पॉन्सिबल व्यक्ति बनते, समाज के लिए कितने उत्तरदायित्व व्यक्ति है, उसके लिए कितने जिम्मेवार व्यक्ति है, और समाज, परिवार और प्रकृति के साथ कितने जिम्मेवारी से आप व्यक्त होते हैं, यह प्रमाणित कर पाते हैं, तो आप एक्सपर्ट नहीं, आप एक्सीलेंट बनते। दोस्तों, इस एक्सीलेंट और एक्सपर्ट में फर्क करने की आपको जरूरत है। आप एक्सपर्ट अपने सब्जेक्ट में हो सकते हैं, अपने एरिया में हो सकते हैं। जब मैं एक्सीलेंट की बात करूं तो आप जीवन के संपूर्ण दायरे में अपने आप से लेके परिवार, समाज और इस संपूर्ण सृष्टि में अपने आप को साबित करते हैं, अपने रोल एंड रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी को समझते हैं, उसका निर्वहन करते हैं, आपके व्यवहार में आता है, आपके कंडक्ट में आता है, तब आप एक एक्सीलेंट के रूप में प्रस्तुत होते हैं। मैं आज के दिन सभी विद्यार्थियों से उनके जीवन में एक्सीलेंट बने, अपने चारों स्तर के जीवन में वो अपनी रोल और रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी को समझे, उस भाव के साथ प्रस्तुत हो, उनके व्यवहार में हो, उनके कार्य में हो, ऐसी कामना करता हूं। और अंत में आप सभी को एक बार इस कार्यक्रम में शामिल होने के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करता हूं, अभिनंदन करता हूं। जय हिंद।
A big round of applause for the speech by Chairperson, Board of Governors, please. Thank you, sir, very much for your inspiring speech. It is indeed a great opportunity for all the graduates to listen to you on their graduating day. Thank you, sir, very much. We are very fortunate to have with us Professor Kishore Kumar Basaji as the chief guest of the 11th convocation of our institute. I'm entrusted with the responsibility of introducing our distinguished chief guest. It is indeed a great honor and my proud privilege to introduce the illustrious profile of Professor Basaji to you all. Professor Kishore Kumar Basa is the chairman of the National Monuments Authority. He also concurrently holds the vice chancellorship of the Indian National Confederation and Academy of Anthropologists, INCAA. An archaeologist by training, Professor Basa was educated in Utkal University, Bhubaneswar, Institute of Archaeology, University of London, University of Cambridge, where he had carried out his postdoctoral studies as a Commonwealth postdoctoral fellow. He taught archaeology at Utkal University for more than 2 decades. Professor Basa was a visiting associate of UGC at the Deccan College, Pune during 1994-96. Besides contributing papers to renowned journals on anthropology, Professor Basa presented papers at South Asian Archaeology Conference held in Paris, Brussels, Berlin, and at the Indo-Pacific Prehistory Association Conference in Yogyakarta, Indonesia. He is widely known for his research on the rich tangible and intangible heritages of Odisha, early westerly trade of Southeastern Asian countries with special reference to glass beads, social theory, and Indian archaeology, Indian writings on early history and archaeology of Southeast Asia, Indian diaspora and museum, megalithic traditions in ethnography and archaeology in India. Professor Basa played a key role in organizing an interstate exhibition on Krishna, the god of the people, by the Indian Museum, Kolkata. Professor Basa is also widely acclaimed for his research on glass bead collection in the museums across countries, namely British Museum, Cambridge University Museum, National Museum of Thailand and Malaysia, Indian Museum, Kolkata, Deccan College Museum, Pune, and the museums of Paris, Berlin, Florence, Dhaka, and Jakarta. He was invited at 2006 Indian Science Congress Hyderabad session to deliver a lecture on museums in the changing world during his 2-year-long tenure as the director of the Indira Gandhi Rashtriya Manav Sangrahalaya, IGRMS. He conducted activities throughout the country by documenting and disseminating the various aspects of tangible and intangible cultural heritage of the country among the people in order to bring the museum closer to community, as he emphasized on people's role as the real curators of our cultural heritage. During his tenure, the indoor museum building V.D. Sankul of IGRMS was open to the public with 6 galleries on the themes of human evolution and variation, human odyssey, etc. He's not only introduced traveling exhibitions during his directorial tenure, but also conducted Balrang, the first ever national festival of school children by museum in India under his auspices. IGRMS started publishing the annual journal on humankind and started the annual lecture series. I now invite humbly our prolific chief guest to deliver the convocation address, please. A big round of applause.
Good evening. Professor Charan, Chairman, Board of Governors, School of Planning and Architecture, Bhopal, members of the Board of Governors, members of the Senate, Director Professor Rao, faculty members, deans and heads of the departments, guardians, parents, graduates, postgraduates and PhD holders, dear students, ladies and gentlemen. I deem it a privilege to be invited to deliver the 11th convocation address of the School of Planning and Architecture this evening. The title of my lecture is Architects During Anthropocene, Challenges for Architecture as a Profession in India. I must confess at the outset that I am not an architect. Therefore, whatever ideas I'll be sharing, please take it as the views from an informed scholar outside the discipline of architecture. If I don't make any sense, I crave your indulgence. At the outset, I convey my sincere thanks to the authorities of School of Planning and Architecture, Bhopal, for inviting me to the 11th convocation. It is gratifying to note that within a short span, SPA Bhopal has carved a distinctive niche in the architectural education in our country. While I take this opportunity in congratulating all the successful students who have received various degrees from this august institute today, it is also equally important to remind them of their responsibility as a professional in nurturing, nourishing, and ushering in what may be called a new heaven on a new earth. Ladies and gentlemen, the present time is characterized differently on different grounds, sometimes contradictory to each other. Time-space compression has reduced the world to a globalized village. The celebrated anthropologist Arjun Apadroy has captured the implications of globalization in his configurations of different scapes, ethnoscapes, financescapes, mediascapes, etc. Another important way to connote the present is post-colonial. Edward Said's classic Orientalism had set the ground which was subsequently taken up by Gayatri Chakravarti Spivak and Homi Bhabha, etc. Began as a literary genre, the post-colonial theory pervaded to other branches of knowledge subsequently. Basically, it operated in 2 ways. Firstly, it contextualized the colonial discourse, and secondly, it also interrogated the stereotypes of colonial forms of knowledge, implying for a decolonization of the mind. Besides, some consider the 21st century as the century of biology, and some others think that the 21st century belongs to Asia. However, the best term to define the contemporary time, along with the immediate past, is the Anthropocene. Before discussing the term Anthropocene, please allow me to take a detour with regard to my professional encounter with architecture as a discipline. While researching on the history and historiography of archaeology in India, I came across the works of James Ferguson, an indigo planter in colonial India of 19th century, who was one of the best authorities in the world in architecture. While his illustrations of rock-cut temples in India came in 1845, His classic work, History of Indian and Eastern Architecture, was published a few decades later in 1876, bringing a historical perspective into the architectural traditions for the first time in India. Before Ferguson, scholars used to describe a particular monument. It was James Ferguson who for the first time classified them into different groups of chronological succession, elucidating their distinctive features. Although his contributions were significant, sometimes there was controversy which went to the unfortunate extreme of personal rancor. The best example is the debate between him and Babu Rajendralal Mitra regarding the Mauryan pillars. Since the Mauryan pillars were in a developed form, and since there was no example of any such pillar prior to that in India, Ferguson conjectured a Greek influence or origin of such a pillar. On the other hand, Babu Rajendralal Mitra rejected it on the ground that the two traditions were quite different and there was no evidence of any Greek influence on the Mauryan pillar. Ferguson was so annoyed with Mitra that he even published a book, Archaeology of India, with special reference to Babu Rajendralal Mitra in 1884, castigating Mitra in the worst possible manner of colonial arrogance. While writing a paper on the history of archaeology in Odisha, I came across an interesting book, Canons of Odishan Architecture, 1930, by Nirmal Kumar Bose. While scholars like Ferguson and R.D. Banerjee had given a historical perspective to the temple building traditions of Odisha, Banerjee modifying certain aspects of Ferguson in terms of chronology, it was Nirmal Bose who for the first time brought to light the textual traditions of temple building in case of Odisha by discussing texts like Bhuvana Pradipa. Another encounter was Ravi Kalia's book, Bhubaneswar from Temple Town to a Capital City, 1994, which gives an account of various issues in the making of the new capital city at Bhubaneswar. The German architect Otto Koenigsberger was invited for the purpose. However, the development of Bhubaneswar represents a struggle, according to Kalia, and I quote, on the one hand between man and his gods, and on the other between man and technology. The final shape and style of Bhubaneswar bears as much the imprint of religion as that of rational scientific knowledge imported from the West, unquote. An unforgettable encounter happened at IGRMS Bhopal when I became its director during 2004 and 8. As you might have been aware, the most important feature of this museum is the open-air display. The tribal habitats is the first such open-air display from 1988, containing various tribal habitats representing various ecozones and regions of India. It has some interesting features. The curators decide the house type to be created in the campus. Then the concerned ethnic group is invited to the museum campus along with new raw materials brought from their locality. The members of the ethnic group erect their habitat in the museum campus following their rituals also. While from an architectural point of view, these habitats are eco-friendly in nature by the utilization of local resources, from a museum perspective, this involves active community engagement in the making of a museum, which is a fundamental principle of the discourse on new museology. It also celebrates Indian knowledge system. During my tenure, the Jewel Book, a youth dormitory from Mizoram, was erected. Let us now discuss the term Anthropocene. It is said that while Eugen Stormer, a biologist, had coined the term Anthropocene informally in the 1980s, it was Paul Cruzen, an atmospheric chemist, who reinvented and popularized the term in 2000 at a meeting of the scientific committee of the International Geosphere Biosphere Program in Mexico. There are three stages of Anthropocene. Spanning from 1800 to 1945, stage 1 is called the industrial era, while stage 2 extends from 1945 to circa 2015 and is called the Great Acceleration. Stage 3 is a stage which may now be starting when people have become aware of the extent of the human impact and may thus start stewardship of the Earth system. However, blaming capitalism for the global predicament, the environmental historian Jason Moore has developed a more controversial concept of capitalocene in 2016, since the overuse of resources, the relentless search for profitability, the translation of nature into quantifiable resources, and the commitment to endless growth, according to her, are nothing but a particular phase in our recent history and are not the characteristics of humanity as a whole. Arguing that we cannot dwell in the Anthropocene, Donna Haraway in 2016 has proposed a move towards what's he called the Chulucene, an imagined future where humans finally learn to live as part of the earth rather than dominating it, and which refers to the entanglements of ultimately all living species in a web of life. Thus, hers is not a call for return to pure and uncontaminated world, but explores ways of staying with the trouble. Architecture is a profession in India. Planning, designing, and supervising the building constructions are the primary jobs of architects as a professional. According to Gordon Sackle, there are 3 M's of architecture: firmitas or firmness or durability, utilitas, that is commodity or utility, and venustas, that is delight and beauty. Besides, connection, cohesion, and changeability constitute the 3 C's of architecture. As regards architecture as a profession, some of the top countries with the highest demand for architects include the United States of America, Switzerland, Singapore, Japan, United Kingdom, Australia, Norway, United Arab Emirates, and Canada. With regard to India, according to the Council of Architecture, there are about 362 institutions which are imparting architectural education leading to recognized qualifications. These institutions are varied, such as constituent colleges or departments of universities, deemed universities, affiliated colleges, schools, IITs, NITs, and autonomous institutions. However, with regard to the standard of education, all of them are governed by the Council of Architecture Minimum Standards of Architectural Education Regulation 2020. It is said that while there are 400,000 civil engineering graduates produced every year in India, only an estimated 24,000 architects come out to the profession every year. It is also said that India produces about 20% of its requirements as far as architects are concerned. In an estimate, it is found that the average salary of an architect in India is approximately 21,50,000 per year. This amount is around, it is also said, half the overall pay range for this profession. At the entry level end of the scale, the average salary is around 12,67,000 per year. While the naysayers constitute architecture as a failed profession in India, to me, architecture as a profession, despite challenges facing them, has a bright future. Their relevance become manifold in India with the rapid urbanization, growing concern for sustainability, changing needs of the society with a growing demand for both functional and aesthetically pleasing spaces, as well as energy efficient and environmental friendly buildings. Challenges for architecture as a profession in India. Although all kinds of professions have to face challenges, to me, 2 professions are to bear the brunt of the most in India. The first is the agricultural scientist, who have to develop strategies for increasing productivity in the face of twin contradictory challenges of increasing populations on the one hand and shrinkage of agricultural land on the other hand. The second is the architects and civil engineers, who have to face the challenge of catering to the demands of the teeming millions for their dwellings and other buildings. There are so many challenges for architects in India. However, for the present purpose, I shall discuss 4 such issues, which include sustainable development goals, vernacular architecture, conservation architecture, and architectural education. Sustainable development goals and architecture. Aiming to transform our world, the sustainable development goals are meant to end poverty and inequality, protect the planet, and to ensure that all people enjoy health, justice, and prosperity. In this scheme, no one is left behind. These 17 SDGs are structured around the 5 pillars of the 2030 agenda: people, planet, prosperity, peace, and partnership. These 5 P's, show that instead of a group of solo goals, the SDGs, on the other hand, are an intertwined framework. The core sustainability issues that emerged from the report include climate change, energy security, water and wastewater management, solid waste management, environmental protection, food security, health, safety, economic opportunity, and responsible business practices. Harmonizing the 3 core elements, that is economic growth, social inclusion, and environmental protection, is crucial to achieve sustainable development. These elements are interconnected and are all crucial for the well-being of individuals and societies and prepare for rapid urban growth. Sustainable architecture means architecture that seeks to minimize the negative environmental impact of buildings through improved efficiency and moderation in the use of materials, energy, development space, and ecosystems at large. While all 17 SDGs are essential, the following goals are particularly relevant to architecture as a whole, especially with regard to the design and construction industries. SDG Goal 7, ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all. SDG Goal 9, build resilient infrastructure, promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and foster innovation. SDG Goal 11, make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. SDG Goal 12, ensure sustainable consumption and production patterns. SDG Goal 13, take the urgent action to combat climate change and its impact. SDG Goal 15, protect, restore and promote sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystems, sustainably manage forest, combat desertification and halt and reverse land degradation and biodiversity loss. By focusing on these critical SDGs, architects, interior designers and construction companies can make a meaningful contribution to global sustainability efforts while creating built environments that are healthy, resilient and adaptable to changing conditions. The most important principles of sustainable architecture can be summarized as good design, energy conservation, energy efficiency, adaptation to the climate, reducing the use of new resources, materials having a benign impact on the environment, indoor healthy environment, seeking to build resilient infrastructure, promote sustainable industrialization, and foster innovation. Sustainable architecture places emphasis on the principle of 3 Ps, 3 Rs, reduce, reuse, and recycle. Designing a building to accommodate waste management strategies would go a long way in reducing the amount of waste produced. All these are great challenges to professional architects. The second, vernacular architecture's lessons to be learned. The term vernacular architecture could be traced back to at least the year 1857 when Sir George Gilbert Scott used it as a pejorative to imply the prevailing architecture in England as opposed to the Gothic architecture he wanted to revive. The term became popular in 1964 when the architect Bernard Rudolphski curated an exhibition titled Architecture Without Architects at the Museum of Modern Art, New York, which featured dramatic black and white photographs of vernacular buildings around the world. A book with the same name was also published in the same year. In 1971, Ronald Brunskill defined vernacular architecture as, and I quote, a building designed by an amateur without any training in design. The individual will have been guided by a series of conventions built up in his locality, paying little attention to what may be fashionable. The function of the building would be the dominant factor, aesthetic consideration though present to some small degree being quite minimal. Local materials should be used as a matter of course, other materials being chosen and imported quite exceptionally, unquote. According to Paul Oliver, the editor of the Encyclopedia of Vernacular Architecture of the World, published in 1997 in 3 volumes, vernacular architecture is now the term most widely used to denote indigenous, tribal, folk, peasant, and traditional architecture. Oliver further stated that vernacular architecture comprises the dwellings and all other buildings of the people. While Oliver appreciated Rudolphski's exhibition and publication, Oliver strongly disagreed, according to Dennis Sharp, with the book's emphasis on buildings' art objects and felt that the lack of recognition of the differences between the builders and the inhabitants of totally distinct cultures was patronizing. In this regard, I find Hubert Gillard's writing in 2014 on defining vernacular architecture interesting, since he has referred to various authorities with different aspects of vernacular architecture. According to Gillard, and I quote extensively, quoting Ivan Illich, the famous person who wrote the famous book Deschooling Society. Quoting Ivan Illich, Pierre Frey reminds us that the vernacular kind means everything that was crafted, woven, or reared at home and not for sale, but for domestic use. Therefore, what is vernacular has no market value. By extension, this definition includes the architecture of a territory and of a human group or of an ethnic group who lives there. Vernacular architecture commonly uses local materials. This is a contextualized architecture which belongs to a particular country or to a regional geographical area and which was built for a given time. This architecture, emerging from the genius loci, is the sense of the being of the place and of the being of being to the place, as noted by Christian Norberg Schulz. The term vernacular architecture is derived from the English and arises as a reference to the work of prominent figures such as Bernard Rudolphski, Eric Mercer, and Paul Oliver. It most commonly refers to traditional or popular architecture as opposed to scholarly architecture. From a theoretical point of view, Paul Oliver refers to Rudolphski in his definition of vernacular architecture and retains the notion of popular architecture, architecture without architects, or even people's architecture, expression of an indigenous science of construction. These contrast with the learned architecture that is produced by trustees of the art of building, individuals, trade, and institutions that break away from the contingency of place as mentioned by Jean-Paul Loubs. One seminal definition given by Eric Mercer in the introduction to his study of English vernacular houses focuses on the concept of shared type with regard to the number of buildings on a geographical area and for a given time. Lastly, in this brief definition, we cannot ignore the importance of the anthropological and cultural parameters to which Amos Rappaport gave so much importance in his definition of vernacular architecture, unquote. It is important to note here that a fully revised, updated and expanded edition of Paul Oliver's classic 1997 publication is being brought out this year as the Encyclopedia of Vernacular Architecture of the World, edited by Professor Marcel Wellinga in 6 volumes with approximately 3,000 entries. Many lessons could be learned from vernacular architecture. The first is the sheer diversity of habitats, not merely in terms of types of structure, but also the use of raw materials. The second, the aesthetic aspects. Third, the use of local materials. Fourth, its eco-friendly character. And last but not the least, a sense of community identity. Promotion of vernacular architecture also has a great bearing for achieving SDGs. While there is a need for architects as professionals to conserve our rich tradition of vernacular architecture in India, some architects have also been influenced by vernacular architecture in their design, which include Indian architects such as Charles Correa and Sila Sri Prakash, as well as the Bangladeshi architects Mujarul Islam and Basirul Haq. Besides, the founder of Vastu Shilpa Foundation in Ahmedabad, late Balkrishna Doshi, was a great proponent of the vernacular architecture of the region. Outside India, the Dutch architects also, von Eyck, Samuel Mogby, Christopher Alexander, and Paolo Soleri were proponents of vernacular architecture. The third, conservation architecture. So many monuments, but so less conservation architects. I'm happy that you have got a course there, that I'm so glad. Monuments are the tangible evidence of our past achievements, which give a sense of identity, providing a link between the past and the present, and thrive as a tribute to human ingenuity and resilience. The diversity of monuments in India ranges from the mundane coast minars to the great temples of Konark and Khajuraho, to the Vijayanagara capital of Hampi, to the Mughal architecture of Taj Mahal and Fatehpur Sikri. Conservation architecture involves the safeguarding and revitalization of historic structures. The evolution of conservation practices implies evolving attitudes towards heritage. It has moved from the restoration of monuments to include also the issues of inclusivity and sustainability. Hence, conservation architecture has emerged as a proving ground to the dynamic interplay between tradition and innovation. Conservation involves documentation with techniques ranging from archival research to cutting-edge digital imaging. Respect for authenticity, minimal intervention approach are some important ethical principles of conservation architects. There is also an attempt in sustainability practices, which include green practices and balancing preservation with modern needs, involving adaptive reuse strategies and community-driven initiatives. Conservation architecture involves both structural stability and material conservation, involving a careful balance between conservation and repair. Adaptive reuse implies a paradigm shift in conservation architecture involving outdated structures finding new purpose without compromising their historical character. Conservation architecture is a very nascent field, and not many professional architects are there in India. From a website, I found a list of only 5 agencies, which include ABM Architects, Mumbai, with Alphas Miller as the main architect, Abhanarayan Lamba Associates, Mumbai, Abhikram, Ahmedabad, Aisarwa Tipnis Architects, New Delhi, Alaya and Associates, Kolkata, with Nilina Devlal and Ashish Saran Lal as their main architects. Of course, your director is also a very well-known conservation architect. Of course, there are more conservation architects than these 5 firms. For example, agencies like INTAC are also involved in conservation of monuments. An expert like Sikha Jain is also associated with the World Heritage Committee meeting by acting as a reporter. But the basic point remains, there are not many conservation architects in India. Conservation of monuments in India is basically in the hands of government agencies. The Archaeological Survey of India is responsible for centrally protected monuments, and the archaeology departments of state governments are for the state protected monuments. Beyond this, there are hundreds and thousands of unprotected monuments which need to be preserved. In this age of branding and corporate social responsibility, there is great potentiality for conservation of heritage structures with corporate funding. Besides, at a policy level, there is a need for revising or preparing a manual keeping in view the needs and aspirations of a 21st century world. For example, in India, we have a conservation manual prepared by Sir John Marshall, the former Director General of Archaeological Survey of India, during the early part of the 20th century, which needs to be modified, revised, and upgraded. I may suggest two other areas also. The first involves preparation of dossier for inclusion of monuments at first in the tentative list and then their inscription as World Heritage Sites. Various state governments are interested in such a thing, and here the architects are the right professionals to prepare dossiers. Various countries in Southeast Asia and Africa have inadequate competent professionals to prepare such dossiers for them. And here is a potential for our young architects. The second area is preparation of heritage bylaws for centrally protected monuments by us, that is the National Monuments Authority. While we in NMA have hired some young architects for the purpose, various architectural institutes and organizations have been empaneled by us who are given the responsibility of preparing draft heritage bylaws. Besides, architects are also needed to prepare the heritage impact assessment report for various agencies when they undergo major projects near centrally protected monuments. The last part is challenges in architectural education. Writing in 1998 on the theme Architectural Education in India in the Time of Globalization, A.G. Krishna Menon made some interesting points. While posing a question, what can the West learn from Third World, the first answer he stated was that the West may learn from the Third World how to deal with deprivation and scarcity. Secondly, he called for the best practices in the Third World to become more universalized, not only in other parts of the Third World, but also in the First World as well. Thirdly, while the First World has lost much of their traditions through industrialization and wars, some of the finest cultural resources of the world exist in the Third World as living traditions. Besides, some of the finest examples of conservation-oriented development practices exist in the Third World. One is only to see the documentation and research produced by the Aga Khan Foundation to appreciate the strength in this proposition. Regarding models for architectural education, Martin Pierce and Maggie Toy suggested that a useful model for contemporary architecture and architectural education was provided by Gilles Deleuze and Felix Guattari when they aborted the taproot ideology in favor of the shifting layers and boundless interconnectivities of the rhizome. Krishna Menon made another suggestion in the form of biological dialectical model, the banyan tree. According to him, and I quote, Deleuze and Guattari's rhizome provide insights to understand what is in the Western cultural milieu, but the banyan tree, coincidentally a tree associated with learning in India, offers a model for what could be a vision for the third millennium. The banyan tree spreads and drops aerial roots which form additional trunks. This process enables the tree to spread outwards to an indefinite extent. A great banyan tree in the Botanical Garden of Calcutta is known to have originated in 1782 and has 464 trunks. The original central trunk died many years ago. Its circumference is 283 meters. The model of the banyan tree loses the definition of both taproot ideology and the rhizome, which represents the development of a single master narrative, but gains the contingent possibility of several narratives simultaneously sustaining the growth of the tree in a mutually supportive manner. So what he's suggesting is challenging the meta-narrative of the Western architectural education. However, Krishna Menon was very apprehensive about the increasing gulf between the Western and the Third World institutions. He felt that if not abridged, that would result in two architectural cultures, separate and unequal. He was, however, hopeful that equitable exchange and genuine dialogue was possible and could become a constructive agenda for architectural education in the third millennium. As an attempt to bridge these two traditions, he had embarked on an ambitious project to critically analyze the architecture produced in Delhi during the last 50 years from then, that is now, from now it is 75 years, with a view to phenomenologically construct a theory of the regional architecture. His team was able to place what he said, and I quote, all the buildings on a so-called representational axis connecting canonical principle at one end and contextualized response at the other. By and large, the canonical principles are from the Western canon, that is international style, and the contextual responses are references to indigenous architecture, unquote. With India becoming more urbanized, the challenges facing architectural education in India include balancing traditional values with modern demand, ensuring quality and accessibility, adapting to a new environmental challenges, emphasis on research and innovation, the rise of interdisciplinary approaches, providing students with a holistic understanding of built environments and fostering innovative solutions to complex design challenges, etc. New technologies such as 3D printing and BIM are revolutionizing the way buildings are designed and constructed. According to Ireland, artificial intelligence will not replace architects, but architects who use artificial intelligence will replace those who don't, unquote. According to James F. Horan, former president of European Association for Architectural Education, and I quote, architectural education is undergoing substantial changes and has moved from the training of architects to an education in architecture. Architecture is directly influenced by today's information society. The educational requirements are no longer confined to the teaching of design, but include new building technologies, digital projecting, networking, and selecting relevant knowledge, to name a few challenges, unquote. Per Olaf Gjeld of Oslo School of Architecture, Norway, opined, and I quote, architectural education faces several difficult adjustments. In its use of technology, it is constantly updating itself and has incorporated numerous technological innovations in order to satisfy the information society's fast pace. But the optimism in relation to technology's potential to improve life through the built environment is perhaps fading in some areas, unquote. The dynamic nature of the new education policy 2020, with emphasis on flexibility, interdisciplinary perspectives, and implying collaboration among institutions even at a global level, offers more scope not only to bridge the gap between the architectural institutions of the West and India by more active engagement with equal terms, but also will hopefully lead to exposures and experiential learning of our young architects to be aware of the best practices of both the West and India, and to creatively incorporate elements from both, considering the diverse context, thus enabling them to navigate the evolving demands of the profession. A meaningful architectural education can contribute to creating a more sustainable and environmentally friendly built environment. To conclude, ladies and gentlemen, there are many challenges for architecture as a profession in India, from solution for the affordable housing gap to keeping up the changing technologies to promotion of sustainable architecture. A great potential source is the rich heritage of our traditional knowledge system with regard to dwelling and religious structures, be it from the tribal habitat making practices to the knowledge of the sthapatis to the textual traditions. Notwithstanding these challenges, are we not aware of the pet saying, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going? I am also reminded of Charles Dickens' narrative in his classic A Tale of Two Cities, and I quote, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times, unquote. Succinctly put, transforming the challenges into opportunities is the best opportunity for our young architects. Let us have faith in our young architects. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your kind invitation and patient hearing.
Thanks for a wonderful, very, very enriching speech indeed, sir. On behalf of the Institute, I extend our heartfelt gratitude for your inspiring convocation address to the graduating batch of 2024, highlighting the importance of transforming the challenges into opportunities. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a warm applause once again to express our appreciation for his thought-provoking and truly inspiring speech. Thank you again for sharing your valuable insights, sir, with us today. We are truly honored. Now I request our director, Professor Kailas Rauji, to please give a memento to our honorable chief guest. Thank you very much, sir. As we celebrate the culmination of this momentous occasion, I am entrusted with the responsibility of proposing the vote of thanks. On behalf of School of Planning and Architecture, Bhopal, an institute of national importance, I am honored to express profound gratitude and thanks to all those without whose support the 11th convocation of School of Planning and Architecture, Bhopal would not have been possible. We appreciate the guidance from the Ministry of Education, Government of India, and the strategic directions from the Board of Governors, the members of the Senate, the Finance Committee, the Building Works Committee for their continuous support. Our sincere thanks to our esteemed Chief Guest, Professor Kishore Kumar Basaji, for sharing his expertise and inspiring our students. I thank our Chairperson, Board of Governors, Professor H.D. Charanji, for his gracious presence online today on this occasion. I also thank our Director, Professor Dr. Kailasa Rao ji, without whose untiring efforts the convocation would not have been possible. I also acknowledge the dedication of SPA Bhopal's faculty, staff, the coordinators, the entire convocation working committees, and students. I thank the media for their coverage of the event. Most importantly, we thank our graduating students and their parents for choosing SPA Bhopal for being an integral part of our journey. Thank you all. I now request the Chairperson, Board of Governors to declare the convocation closed.
I now declare the 11th convocation of School of Planning and Architect Bhopal closed.
All present may please rise for the national anthem and remain standing until the procession leaves the venue.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंग विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंग तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तब जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे